Professor Jacob Mofokeng, security analyst from the Department of Criminology and Security Science at Unisa. Prof, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. Now, this report into the murder of Aman Swart is a key piece of evidence. I mean, we heard, for example, from Witness B that it was tampered with, and Brigadier Meshach Mkhabela at some point coming saying that the errors, including the omission of 15 AK-47 cartridges, were as a result of typing error and not interference. This is a claim that has been supported by Captain Makhatle, who speaks about how this was just simply work pressure and it's nothing untoward. But when you look at all of this, how key will it be for the Commission to determine who's lying here?
Well, good evening, Swangila, good evening to SABC News viewers. It will be quite a challenge for the commissioners to be able to determine, which side of the story to take as credible, considering, how, even Brigadier Mkhabela supported, the errors committed by Captain Mokhatle to say that it's because of possible errors and, due to the workload. Then it is for the commissioners really to be able to, probably make a follow-up on, especially on that particular environment, considering what has been submitted, which is a fact that we had earlier last year that they have excess over 41,000 cases. And then they're operating on the half of, analysts. Instead of 66, they're having 33. So those that came and made allegations against Silverton Forensic, and then they are disputed by, Brigadier Mkhabela as well as Captain Mkhatwe to say that, well, it is not about infiltration, it's not about corruption, it's about the pressure. So it is for, the commissions really to try to make follow-up in terms of what has been submitted already to be able to find the true information.
And Prof, as you speak about the lab, right, what the captain is also saying, it was something that was worrying for me, and I don't know how as South Africans we should be processing this, to hear that, as you say, you're also saying that the lab is in fact short-staffed, but he says errors at the lab will always be there. We're chasing quantity, not quality. How worried should we be about that?
Yeah, remember, even what Chief Justice actually submitted today, as well as, Senior Counsel Checkerson, to say that, well, what about those cases that do not fall under high profile? So it means that most of criminals, they smile out of prison because of probably cases that will be withdrawn out of court, but as well as those that will be indicating that they don't have probably convictions. And, we are aware of many cases of, the use of firearms, as well as how these people, they are so randomly, killing and using a lot of, ammunitions at the crime scene, with the knowledge that, whenever these cases are presented, they cannot be linked at forensics. So it is a worrisome factor to indicate that those that are there within the environment, they are complaining about, they are tasked with clerical jobs when actually they are supposed to be doing, analyst work. And it is for the South African Police Service, as well as the top management, to be able to ratify that. It is indeed a sad reality for South Africans to be able to understand these kinds of situations existing.
And speaking about a sad reality, right, we're hearing not only inaccuracies in the ballistics report, we're also hearing claims of kidnapping, and he's making these claims against his own, colleagues who are also fellow SAPS members. These are serious allegations, and we've been hearing allegation upon allegation when it comes to the SAPS. How damaging are these to the already fractured image of the SAPS?
Yes, it shows that the lack of social cohesion between, whether the investigators or LSS. So for him, he made that kind of stunning, account accusation, that he was essentially kidnapped and forcefully interrogated by Witness B's investigative team around January 2025. He claimed heavily armed officers took him from his home to the lab after hours to force, corrections on that particular report. So it just shows that, those that are working within the South African Police Service is a reflection of what we have already had within the Madlanga, that, even senior managers, leaders within SAPS, they are fighting. But we also see those that are probably the investigators, they are forced with a huge caseload, but then delay of, these forensic reports from the labs did, frustrated them. Hence also the same, analysts, they are forced to appear before the courts of law. So this is a crisis that is, facing the South African Police Service that needs probably urgent attention.
Prof, before I let you go quickly, there are also reports, of course, I'm sure you've seen them around Major General Sinona, that he's in hiding at some point over the weekend. There was a back and forth on whether or not he was forcibly removed from his office. What do you think is going on there?
Well, he's expected by today to provide with, information why he should not be taken out of the office, based on the allegations that are raised, towards him, but his appearance or disappearance is something that really, it cannot be verified, because number one, is a police official, high-ranking official, so it cannot be someone who can be kidnapped. So probably he's somewhere where, whoever is looking for him cannot be able to reach such. But, he did mention that he's, fearing of his safety. And this is what we are hearing now of certain individuals, that senior ranking officials, they are also afraid of their lives, that they can, whatever information they provide to the commission, it can be detrimental to them as well as to their families. So that is a state of South Africa. Maybe we undermine, criminal infiltration as well as, coercion by politicians into this environment, but this becomes a reality to all of us.
Certainly. Thank you so much for talking to us. Appreciate your time. As always, Professor Jacob Mofokeng, security analyst from the Department of Criminology and Security Science at Unisa.